Hey Scorpio, welcome to your mid-May check-in. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest behind. You may get a little, you may get a lot, but be sure to check your sun, moon, rising, and midheaven. So let's get into it. I went ahead and pulled some cards. We have a fair here in the reverse. We have intuition, and we have manipulation in the reverse. And then let's see. So we have Nine of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, King of Swords. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so I feel like there's something that, there's some type of commitment that is made here. And I feel like it's committing to something, committing to some type of boundary, discipline here. And it could be to help you kind of keep the ego at bay. Because it's like when you have some type of structure to work within, there is part of you that fights it, right? And it's recognizing that part of you that helps you identify and pinpoint what your ego wants and how it wants you to move, right? And sometimes it's usually tied to some type of trauma or belief or condition that we have, right? The way that we see or experience or assume the world and our life and circumstances to be. But I feel like by you creating the system, this discipline, creating some type of boundary for yourself, you're able to get into a more place of being you. When you're in some type of intuitive flow, you're digesting information very well, and you're recognizing and seeing kind of what your destiny or fate is in a much clearer way than before. You're recognizing the places where you've kind of closed up or withheld certain aspects of who you are or dreams that you have for yourself. And you're entering a space where you're going to find situations where the energy can be trusted, where you're opening up to people, to situations that offer you a space of gratitude, like a space of being grateful that you took the time to do something for yourself, right? Like the world opens up and starts offering things to you because you're willing to give to yourself. Now with this King of Swords here, I feel like this is someone who maybe takes a fair amount of interest in what you've got going on. And it's someone who can be trusted. It's someone who you feel like makes a lot of sense. And it could be someone from your past. It's like maybe you're starting to understand a bit more of where they were coming from and having appreciation for them and realizing that they weren't trying to control you or had any type of agenda when it came to being in a space with you, right? And it could have actually been you that was the one that was creating some type of friction because of things that has happened to you before, right? Again, some of those conditions that you believe take place in your life, right? So let's go a little bit deeper here. And I just feel like you're in a healthier place. I feel like this person reaches out to you though. I feel like you don't reach out to them because it's maybe someone, maybe if you force yourself to reach out to a person, it's not going to be the person that you think it is. Unless some of you are very intuitive, and we do have the intuition card, right? But I feel like you've got to let it unfold. Unless for some reason, when you least think about it, that person pops up into your head, and you feel like you have an open enough line of communication to talk to them, okay? Because it may be something that reminds you of them, and so you may just kind of send it casually, not thinking anything of it, and then that helps open up this space of reconnection. So we have the Eight of Swords on the reverse, the Knight of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles. This person's been doing a lot more work on themselves, which may intimidate you a bit when you step back into like reconnection here. But I feel like there's part of you that recognizes it and sees it and gets unattached from maybe judging yourself, right? Or it's like, you know, maybe you start kicking yourself in the butt for maybe not connecting with them or still being in connection with them because of whatever changes they've made in their life. And I feel like for some of you, it's like, dang it, I want that too, right? I want that too. I feel like whatever this connection is, it's going to be short-lived for most of you, for maybe less than a year. So if it ends up being something romantic, do not consider it to be something that's going to be long-term. In fact, it's just going to be the universe kind of sending you someone who can act as a mirror of who you're becoming and offer you, can hold space to help you kind of come along with them, right? It's like they kind of got on their train that they wanted to take, right, to the destination that they want to go, and they're going to help you find your train in some way, right? So I really like that. For some of you, I feel like maybe maybe there's something about them as far as maybe there's a huge difference in like earning power here too. That's what I get. And so it's like maybe you want them to invest in something for you, but I feel like it's important for you to not push that. I feel like it's important for you to instead share whatever it is. It's like they want to see that you've grown without saying it, right? It's like, I've done all of this stuff now, like I'm interested in your story. Like how have things changed for you? And I feel like there's a need to be positive, like to only focus on the positives here, because if you focus on the areas where you lack, because we have the sun reversed at the bottom, if you focus on the areas where you're lacking, they're not going to see that growth in you, because they're going to see a lot of what you used to sound like and how you used to show up. So I feel like be careful to the way that you communicate things, to frame things in a better, I hate to say more positive light, but a more constructive light, right? Because they'll be more receptive to that, to hearing you speak that way, than if you weren't. All right, so we have the Strength card, the World, and the Three of Cups reversed. Okay. So remember what I said about them kind of holding space? This is kind of what they do. And I feel like this is a lot about you learning to be in your power without trying to be overbearing, without trying to push an agenda, but to actually learn. Because it's like, I feel like there's a lot of energy of like pushing outward, trying to get the world to see you, right? But it's a lot of you having to move in this space with this person, being fully aware of yourself. Being fully aware that this person represents someone you can become if if they are someone that you would like to be in your own, version, your own version of. But what I also feel like there's, some of you may feel self-conscious too, because maybe you look a bit different than you did before, or maybe this person looks better than they did before. So there's something there too that I'm picking up on here. It's almost like you're kind of caught in like, oh, I'm kind of like at my worst right now. And so again, like, don't fall into the trap of like speaking in that way to them. I think it's more about being in a space of gratitude and presence with them. That's really important. And I feel like some of you might end up going to breakfast with them or brunch with them at some point within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And that seems like a very nice time. It may be very weird for some of you. So like mind your posture, mind your body language here. I also feel like for some of you, you have a friend or someone that has been really busy with work, has in some way been really busy with work. And maybe you have plans to partner up with them. Maybe you've put in an offer to see if you can assist them in some way, right? But I feel like that's not really the path to go necessarily. Because I feel like it's good to not have not to add any more attachments into that relationship, because that's why it works so well. Okay? Because I feel like for you, this is a lot about you achieving your independence and faith of self. Yeah, because we have the King of Cups, we have the Five of Wands reversed, and we have the Sun card in the reverse. So there's like the King of Cups is watching this Five of Wands and watching this Sun card. And so for some of you could be feeling like, okay, well, what if I didn't have kids? What would my life be like? You know, what would it be like if I stopped trying to just figure it all out, right? Because there's just something about, there's a lack of play here that you're not allowing yourself to achieve. There's part of it where you kind of just look at the life around you and build a case for it, and perhaps feel very resentful about a lot of the things that you've had to do or to overcome, resentful of some of the choices that you've made or have had to make, right? And it hasn't offered you a stable enough foundation to build something. And it's so funny, King of Cups and like Scorpio, so it makes it's very interesting here. I also feel like something with storm energy. And it's like some of you may have had really stormy situations with people. Maybe this King of Swords is someone that maybe you've had conflicts with. And that's kind of the most interesting part about them kind of coming back in this new way. So some of you might be a little bit suspicious of it too, right? Because going back to that whole thing about appearances, maybe it's not even physical. It's like, you know, maybe it's just seeing someone in a different way, and you like feeling some type of way about yourself because of it, right? It's like it catches you off guard, and so it creates this like needing to reevaluate some things, right? Because you're not having to continue, you're not having to strategize something with them or figure something out. It's like what you're seeing is what you're getting, but yet you don't really trust it. Kind of going back into that intuition space and talking about you digesting information, that's what's coming up here. I feel like you don't have a lot of faith in other people. And so that's one thing that's kind of coming about. And maybe you once, like I said, maybe you once had a relationship with this person, and there's something about it that was very kind of, maybe you have really interesting experiences, maybe certain things about control, mixed messages, or strange kind of messages or communication, you know, someone not being themselves is one of the things that I get. But I also feel like there's just a lot, it's like a weird kind of, it's a weird kind of twin flame energy. I don't always like to use that word or that term a lot, but that's what I'm feeling here. And then going back to this friend that you're considering doing business with, I feel like it would be you perpetuating some type of cycle, like wanting something from someone else and kind of almost siphoning energy off. And I feel like this person does not want that. That's why they're not showing up or showing back up in order to invite you in. Because even though you do have good intentions, there's too much that you need and expect other people to give you, and you're not willing to give to yourself. So being mindful of that. And so it leaves you in a place of really being unprotected, because you just want the world around you to give you something. And I know that some of you have felt like you've given so much that you should be receiving in return, but it's kind of just this like, it's begrudgingly almost for some of you. So it's like, how can we start creating new spaces with joy, with a little less tension, right? And with the ability to really be able to digest information and situations in a different way. So as to not fall in to the same like heightened forms of emotion that end up creating destructive situations, or situations where you feel like you have to strategize and figure out a way of moving through them instead of just moving through them confidently as yourself, right? So that is what I have for you, Scorpio. I feel like that got really intense for a second. I appreciate you tuning in to listen. Oh yeah, Six of Swords was at the bottom of the deck. So yeah, resistance toward making this transition, to allowing yourself to be in a calmer state of oneself and how one feels about your life, your circumstances, even these other people, like coming to a state of just finding peace in it instead of trying to make a splash, right? So yeah, that's what I have for you. I'll see you in June. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, check the description box if you'd like to book with me. And that's that. Until next time, bye for now.